What's up, guys? Is Snap-on worth it? Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit. So, is it worth going and buying one of these, right? Depends. Depends on how you use it, how often you use it. So this is a 25-inch flex head ratcheting breaker bar. It's made by Snap-on. Okay. For years, I got by with one of these. This is just a standard breaker bar. It's a Am Pro. For years I made do, and I used this, and I put some flex into it. Took it. The head never came loose. Nothing. We're good. But eventually, you want to step up to one of these. Not necessarily a Snap-on per se, but a ratcheting breaker bar. Okay? When you're, if you work on new stuff, brand new stuff, ain't got no miles on it, or brand new cars, sure. You crack that bolt loose, you can take it off by hand, no problem. But on older stuff that's got miles on it, or diesel trucks, head studs, things like that, a regular breaker bar, you crack that bolt loose, what do you got to do? You got to reset it and go at it again, because it ain't loose enough to take it off by hand. For years, that's what I did. For years. And after using this, I should have did it years ago. Should have just bit the bullet and bought one years ago. It is the single best tool investment that I think I've ever made. Is this right here. When you're doing stuff, in a motor, like I've done 3 head stud jobs in the last 6 months. When you're working around turbos and exhaust manifolds and intake horns and injectors, and you're up under the cowl and it's tight spaces, money for taking out head studs or original head bolts. You crack them loose, they're not loose. You got to get a couple more on them before you can take them out by hand. And this, by far the best investment I think I've ever made. I wish I'd have did it years ago. This is a dual 80. It's a non-locking, alright? It's just standard flex head. Hard handle. Alright, I like the hard handle for when you're grabbing, you really go to put something on it, gives you something to grab. For the average DIY guy, it's an expensive tool. It's probably not worth buying. Just use a regular breaker bar, But if you're using it more than just on the weekends, a couple times a year, things like that, to me, Snap-on was worth it. Let's talk about 3/8. See what brand that is? It says Icon. Is this as good as that? No. But this is one of the ones that they recalled, okay? It's a 3/8 flex. It's got a good mechanism in it, okay? And I haven't had any issues with it, okay? But I use it on 3/8 stuff. 3/8 sized fasteners. That's what I'm using it for. Okay? I'm not really cranking on it because I know what a 3/8 is for. Okay? If I really want to crank on something, I'm going to use a 1/2 inch. Okay? Now I think, personally, once they get the issue with this mechanism locking up on some people, figured out, this will be a good ratchet. This is going to be a good ratchet for DIY guys, the guys that are doing maintenance on their cars, don't want to pay a shop outrageous prices or get ripped off by some dealership, making them change their wiper blades when they take it in for an oil change or, whatever, right? This will be a good ratchet. But if you're doing it more than just regular maintenance, a couple times a year, working on mama's car, whatever, right? That's where this comes into play. This is also a dual 80. Okay? This is a professional tool. This is something that, if it breaks, guess what? I take it back to the truck. And he either gives me a new one or he fixes it for me. I ain't got to drive to a store. I ain't got to do none of that. I give him a call and say, hey, that ratchet broke. And that dealer, that franchisee, makes it right. This, is not a professional mechanic's choice tool. Is it a good tool? Yeah, it'll get you by. It'll probably hold up to the average guy doing average stuff around the house, working on their lawnmower, stuff like that. You're working on big diesel trucks, you're doing jobs for people. That's where something like this comes in. Now Matco, Snap-on, I'll throw Cornwall in there. They make the best ratchets there are. Snap-on probably makes the best. Okay, their dual 80 is a really, really good ratchet. Really good ratchet. Really good high quality. I've seen one Snap-on wrench, one break in my life. My dad has been doing this work for 40 years. I grew up working in his shop, helping him out. And I've been using Snap-on, majority of my life between his tools, and now I'm starting to get my own tools, or I've been starting to get my own tools, and I have a lot of Snap-on stuff. Their wrenches are outstanding. I've seen one break, and it was up under a car on a bolt, and that car was getting pulled up onto a rollback, and it got caught between the ground and the rollback, and it snapped. You know what happened with that? Took it to the Snap-on dealer, said, hey, it's in two pieces. Snap-on dealer, oh, never seen that happen. Here's a new one. Sent out for a warranty. It broke. It failed. Now, is any wrench going to fail doing that? Yeah. But I've never seen a Snap-on strip teeth. I've never seen a Snap-on break under regular usage. I've never seen them, the ears, the teeth bend on them. I've never seen these separate on a Snap-on. Okay, this is a Snap-on. Right there. Okay, it's a non-flank drive. 12-point box end, open end, non-flank drive. Held up great. I've had them for 10 years. They were brand new, right? I've got these absolutely awesome wrenches. These ones, right? A lot of people, what are those for? Those are useless. They just sit in my toolbox. Use them on injector lines. Trust me, they come in handy. Now, for the average guy, is Snap-on worth investing in? No. Is it worth you spending all that money as an average guy for something like this? Or something like that? That's like a $130 ratchet right there. Is that worth it? Average guy doing oil changes on his car? No. Where Snap-on is worth it is if you are doing it for money. Okay? If you are relying on that tool to make you money, it's worth it. Now, I see a lot of stuff, going on. Justin Dow has a really good video about, tool truck credit and get yourself into trouble. And, these big tool companies, Snapon, Matco, they have arrangements with community colleges, and they go there and they give you a good deal on a starter set, and they get you, a truck account and things like that, right? Where you can get yourself in trouble is when that guy comes around every week. And you're going to everybody, takes a break, and they go out there and they go on the truck, and, oh, yeah, that's a new one. Oh, yeah, that's nice. I need that, right? And everybody's buying something. And that's where you can get yourself into trouble. Young guys getting into it, that's where they get themselves into trouble. If you set yourself a limit, $50 a paycheck, $25 a week, $30 a week, whatever it is that you think you can afford, and you stick to that, you only stay within that limit. For years and years, I used Harbor Freight stuff. I used Craftsman stuff. Matter of fact, I still have Harbor Freight sockets, that's a Harbor Freight socket. That's a chrome vanadium, or whatever it is that they, use. That's a Harbor Freight socket. And I've used it for 10 years. I broke one and I cracked it. Actually, I didn't crack it. Somebody else that was using my tools cracked it. I have never broke, a Harbor Freight socket. Now, am I going to keep Harbor Freight sockets? No. But I have them until I replace them with Snap-on sockets, or, Snap-on. I prefer Snap-on. That's my brand. So, I'm going to keep using these sockets until I eventually replace them and phase them out with Snap-on sockets. You don't need to go out and spend $10,000 on the Snap-on tool truck. You can go and buy, this month, I'm going to buy XY sockets. And I'm going to wait until I get them paid off. And then I'm going to buy, the shallow set. And then I'm going to buy, and you build it over time. You don't need to go and build, buy a full toolbox full of stuff in one shot. You can go to Harbor Freight and buy the stuff that you need to start working on stuff, and slowly build up tools that are not going to break. They are going to hold up, and they are going to be stuff that you have literally for a lifetime. My dad, like I said, he's been in this business for 40 years. And he has sockets and wrenches and things that are 30 years old. My grandfather, he's been doing it close to 60 years now, 65 years, something like that. He's got Snap-on, Matco. He's got good quality stuff. And guess what? It holds up. At this point, he's been doing it so long, the only time he goes and buys stuff off the tool truck is specialty tools that he needs that he doesn't have, that he needs for a job. He's working on a car and he doesn't have a specialty tool that new car requires. He goes and he buys it because he's built his set over time. He's filled his toolbox up over time. Now, there's one ratchet doesn't do everything, right? So I got this big long 3/8, okay? And in the meantime, I got this Icon, shorter 3/8, right? I'm going to keep using this one until I get the Snap-on one that is this long, or that is this long, okay? One ratchet doesn't do everything. You need different lengths, you need different styles, different things to get into different places. There's different approaches to that. You know, you can get locking flex heads, you can get a straight, and you can get a locking, but, you know, I'm not going to get a locking flex head. One, they're more money, and two, I already have this shorter fixed head. So why am I going to buy a locking flex head, which costs more money than the regular flex head, when I already have this one? I think people get too wrapped up in cost, and they look at it, you know, a Snap-on box is $10,000, $14,000, $22,000 for an Epic Series. Well, yeah. Not everybody needs that. Not everybody's going to buy that. If you can't afford it, don't. If you can, and you want that nice Epic Series box, and you want to drop $22,000 on a box, be my guest, Bubba. That's you. I'm not going to spend that much money on a box. The box that these tools are in right now is a U.S. General Series 1 56-inch box. Am I outgrowing this box? Yeah. Do I need a bigger one? Like a 72-inch? Yeah. Am I going to go and get the Icon box, 73-inch, I think it is? No. You know, eventually, I'm going to wait until I literally can't fit anything else in this box, and I have all the sockets and the things that I need, that I want. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to buy a, you know, $8,000 or $9,000 Snap-on box. And the color I want, and the trim that I want, and with all the features that I want. And that's what I'll have for the rest of my life. And I won't ever need another box. Ever again. That's the box that I'll have. For the average guy that's just wants a box for his garage to keep his tools in, is a $6,000 Snap-on box worth it? No. Don't go and waste your money. Go to Harbor Freight and buy you a U.S. General. You know, I'm doing this. I'm turning jobs. You know, doing work. Getting paid money. I got customers, and I got a you know, multiple series jobs that, you know, I do one job, and then, you know, he's got to save up some money for the next parts that he wants and brings it back, and then we do that job. And I'm working out of a U.S. General box. Justin Dow, he's a professional mechanic. He's using, guess what? A U.S. General box. Redemption Garage, he's got U.S. General boxes. He's a professional mechanic. There's another channel, I think, Tool Time. He's got, you know, he's a professional heavy truck equipment repairer. And what does he work out of? Okay, what's that box that he's showing his tools out of? All right. Snap-on is worth it if you use them. Not everything that Snap-on has is worth it to some people. Some people, the socket sets aren't worth it. The wrench sets aren't worth it. All right? To me, the biggest thing that's worth it, if you're going to invest in Snap-on, okay, is ratchets. A cheap one, okay, if you're trying to break a bolt loose and it breaks, okay, you're going to smash your knuckles all to shit. And it's going to hurt. And you're going to be bloody, and then you got to finish whatever it is you're doing. And that sucks. Investing in a high-quality ratchet is worth it. 100%. 100% is it worth the investment. Now, if you're going to do that, okay, you don't necessarily have to have Snap-on sockets. What did I show you I use? Harbor Freight sockets. That's what I use. And they work, and I've never broken one, and I've never cracked one. Me, personally. I have had one crack, but I wasn't the one using it. If a socket cracks generally, okay, it's not going to slip off the bolt. It's going to crack down the side of it, and you're going to know it because you're going to hear it, but it's not going to let loose. I have seen cheap ratchets, when they strip, they let loose and it's free spin. And that hurts. I've watched it happen. It's not fun. So is Snap-on, these right here, okay, is it worth it? To me, it is. If you're doing anything that's more than just oil changes, okay, a high quality ratchet that has stood the test of time, okay, and is probably regarded as the best ratchet manufacturer out there, they're worth it. Okay? If you're going to invest in anything from Snap-on, okay, specialty tools, ratchets, air impacts, okay, pneumatic tools, all right, this is where you invest your money in. You invest your money in things that cheap stuff just don't work, and it doesn't work well. Okay? Now, the cordless stuff. Is Snap-on cordless stuff worth it? In my opinion, no. Milwaukee is just as good. They got a good warranty, and they're way cheaper. So why would I go and buy a Snap-on 3/8 battery operated ratchet? I ain't gonna do that. Why would I do that when I can go and buy a Milwaukee off Amazon and it's $143 for just the tool for the M18 fuel or whatever it is? That's what I'm gonna invest my money in. I'm not gonna invest that on the Snap-on truck when that's $400 or $500. No thanks. But ratchets, wrenches, things like that. Like I said, I've had these wrenches for 10 years. I've been wrenching on these things for 10 years. I mean, look at that. The chrome's not messed up. There's nothing wrong with them. I mean, I beat on these things with a hammer to get something loose. Not exactly what you're supposed to do with a wrench, but I've done it. And they've held it. It's perfectly fine. Do I have a full, complete, sweet set of Snap-on wrenches? No. Eventually, would I like that? Sure. It's nice when you open your toolbox and everything matches and everything's all pristine and nice. When you're working on people's stuff and they see a really nice toolbox, they're like, damn, this dude knows what he's doing. This dude's legit. But the average guy working out of his garage, working in his garage on his old lady's car or, his Honda Civic or whatever, he don't need that stuff. He doesn't need a full suite of Snap-on wrenches. He doesn't need $9,000 in Snap-on sockets. He doesn't need it because he's not turning wrenches and making money with it. Okay? So, if you're going to invest your money in Snap-on, if nothing else, invest it in one thing, and that's ratchets. Okay? This is worth it. A high-quality, professional ratchet that has stood the test of time and has been proven by professional mechanics that use them every single day, day in, day out, 365 days a year. That's worth it. These, right here, these are worth the money. Every day, twice on Sunday. I do it all over again. This one especially, this is the absolute handiest tool you can have, is a ratcheting breaker bar. There are other brands of ratcheting breaker bars that you can find, but outside of the big three, Mac, Matco, and Snap-on, they're not good. They don't hold up. They're just not as good. That's what I think. Comment down below and let me know what y'all think. Take it easy, y'all.